So in the last video, we finished off with the settings page and aligning the text. So we did this view and we did these text edit, where you can double click, type and enter to save, or double click, type escape to cancel, or you can click the buttons to do the same thing. The last thing we need to do here is the password field needs to be a real password field, not just a text field. Then we need a new password, so like a current and then new password and confirm password instead of just one box. And then we'll just put a little sign out button as well, and we'll get that to actually technically sign out, take you back to the login page, but we have no back end yet, so it'll be purely just semantic to get you back to the login page. So we'll start with that. It should be fairly simple, shouldn't be too much of a task. So this text entry control, I'll start by just cloning that control. Let's try that again. There we go. We'll rename this to password entry control. Then change whatever else we need in here. So this needs to be password entry control. We need a view model, password entry control. So we'll make that in a moment. Quick glance through. We'll change this edit content to a password box as well. But let's just do the current control name change first. So password entry control, change the constructor, change the owner of the dependency property. And also change that here. So I think that I will need to now do the view model. So let's just quickly go to view model, input, text entry control, copy that, rename that to password entry control, to edit a password. So we'll have label. Now we won't have original text. We'll have secure, is it secure password or secure text? Oh, secure string, isn't it? That's it. So we'll have original password. Then we'll have edited password. Then we'll have the confirm password. Then the editing stays the same. We also want, well actually no we don't, we can just simply put actual stars. No, let's do a view model for that. So we'll do a string for the the fake password display. I got edit, save, constructor, password entry, command methods. We'll come to that in a minute. So in here, we'll set the fake password to just 8 stars. So we never want to give away anything to do with the original password anyway. So set fake password. And then in the edit, we want to cancels the same, save will come to. In the edit, we want to make sure current password is correct. So this will be with the the real user's password that you'll have stored somewhere that we don't right now. So this would be if we can do a var stored password. I'm going to make this So typically the stored password, the current password you'd do nothing with as such. You'd simply send the current password and the new password to the server, encrypted, and the server would then verify if the original password was correct. But for demo sakes here, I'm going to make one. So I think I can just make a new secure string. And it points to the array of objects, so really, I'm going to make it that way. Okay, so I can just do... It's got to be an easier way to make a secure string than just making up a pointer. Well, I know for one we have an unsecure method, so we should have a secure method. Maybe. Nope. Oh, really? Okay. So it needs characters. Well, let's make the fake password testing. Do to a character array then, and can't do a for each on it. No. Okay. So what we will do is make a new secure password, or in fact we don't need to make a secure password here because this is just a a demo that we're testing. You wouldn't have this here. This would be done on the server anyway. So the first thing we want to do is confirm comp password is a match, and then again note this isn't done here. It's done on the server. But for this demo, we'll do if stored password isn't equal to, and then the other thing we need, we have it here, don't we? So we have the current password, so original password we've put. So unsecure the original password in memory. If it isn't equal to that, then we, we'll keep the dialog open, so we'll literally just tell the user, and then we will display ioc.ui.showMessage and have we added localization to this yet? No, so we really need to start thinking about localization soon, so these strings can be stored in other languages. So title is wrong password. OK text. Now, have we default the OK text to OK so we don't have to set it? No, so let's default that to OK. And then the message equals the current password is invalid. So then if it was the current password was valid, after that we then need to check the new and confirm password match. So then if not, or rather if new password, or we called it edited password, haven't we, isn't equal to confirm password, then same again, we have an issue. Let the user know. Password mismatch. The new and confirm password do not match. And again, typically all this is done on the server. So about the only thing you do here is this check, is if the edit and confirm passwords match. Things like this, the current password, you'd usually just send the current password with the request to change the password, and the server would verify. Then you can do more checks here, like say, make sure the password's 7 characters long and contains this, that, the other. But again, all those checks you don't usually do on the client. You let the server handle those things. So in the real app, when we've done the backend server, this will be the only thing that remains, and then like this will go. But for the demo, you want to see something happening, so I'll leave that in there. So this confirms that the original password is testing, and that the new and the confirm match. And then if it is, you want to update the original password equals the edited password. And now this thing would actually become the pointer though, because, well, I'm pretty sure it would, that if you simply set this class to another and the underlying content's a pointer, which I think this is, this would actually clone. So what we'll do there instead is original password is new secure string, and then for each of our character in edited password dot unsecure character array original password dot append character C. So we're doing like a deep copy, if you will, of every character. We're making a new one, because I've got a feeling that simply setting original password to edited password, because the underlying secure password is a pointer in memory, it's going to literally be this pointing to the same thing, and then they'll never, you change one, it's going to change the other. So that's how we'll handle that. Set the edited text to the current text, edit password to the current value, and then go into editing mode. Have we just put this all in the wrong place? Yes, we have. Okay, let's take a quick look at the original. Let me just rename this class. And then we'll open text entry view model. I've gone and dumped it all in an edit command, which should have just simply changed the text. And this logic all the way down to here was actually when we went to save. So this should have been there. So paste that into save, and then in edit mode we simply wanted to, in an edit mode of a password is actually different. We want to clear all password. So this would be edit password equals new secure string, and confirm password equals new secure string. Then, in fact, we do that, but also we want to, oh yeah, we can't, I'm just trying to think ahead here that we are going to have to, well, we'll see how it goes, because can we bind? We could bind to this, but we're going to have a, you're going to have to do something else with this view model for when the password changes. So let's just roll with that for now, and let's start getting this in. So I'm thinking that should compile at least. So that compiles. So we now have a password entry field, password entry design model we need as well. Let's just quickly do a design model. And the design model will have fake password, rate of those, and rename the class. Now that should, well, it already builds, but this should now get rid of the compile error. So we have all the view model. For starters, we have the label. The edit content now wants to be a password box. You can't now set the text, so we'll come around to that in a minute. But let's start with the basic edit password and make sure it's a password box. So we've got that. We don't need that now. We don't need that. In the settings here, we want to change this one to password. And there's the password field. And now it's a password. You'll notice double clicking doesn't focus. So let's fix that. So here we handle text box only. So just change this logic a bit to handle text boxes first, or password boxes as well. And then if it's a password, it should still focus. So there we go, now it's focused. So we, there we go. So that's staying. We haven't bound anything yet. So let's start binding things. First thing, password entry, edit text box. Where's the content and normal? Original text. So now original text doesn't exist because this is a different view model. In fact, it does at the minute because the underlying settings view model is actually set to text entry still. So that wants to now become password entry design model. And that will be fake password. Let's just change this so we know first. And we'll change it back. And where did we start putting like stars in? So we entered it in the design model, which is fine. In the password entry view model, we do that by default. So let's remove that. Let's let the thing constructing it set it. So we only do it in two places. One is in the design model, which is fine, and one's in the real place, which is, or rather, this is the design model still. Sorry, we did it in the constructor of the actual view model itself before, whereas now we don't. We explicitly set it here. So let's also set it here. So this should be fake design. Just want to prove the binding works first. So in design time, we should see fake design and password entry design model. Sorry, this is the, get this right in a minute. This is the runtime, so that's fake. And in the design time, we want fake. And we'll change this back after. I just want to prove that the binding works. Check where else we're now doing anything. So that's it. So we've got the design model itself. That's fake design. The settings view model creates a new view model with fake in. And the settings the settings design model has the same thing again, yeah. So this one's also fake design time, as this is in the settings view when we see that in here. So if we then bind if we bind this text now to fake password, see their fake design here. In the settings page, we should also see fake design because that's what we entered. So there we go, we see the fake design. And in runtime, we should see the word fake. So then we know the binding's good for that and we can change it back to an actual star. So there you go. So that's the binding for the display text. So now let's just change all those back. Now we're happy that that's done correctly. Right then, that's that bit done. So we have the display bound. Right, next. So the underline content, which is this edit content. Well, first we want, this is the current password. Oh, what have I done? I didn't mean to open PowerShell. Current password. Then we want 2 more, and this is new password, confirm password. So we'll give them all names as well. So current password, new password, confirm password. When it double clicks, we only want the first one to focus this, so let's get rid of the focus off the other 2. We also then want to, in the grid, make some rows. All auto, just simply size to whatever we want. But because we're going to have this text box and then 2 others, we're going to have the, you know, the new and the confirm. We'll chuck the new on the row below, and the other one on the row below there. Yeah, 2 is right. And then we will want, we need to go back to the password entry view model. As well as label and fake password, we then want the current password hint text. And then the new and the confirm. New, confirm, and then in the constructor we will leave them blank. We'll let the design model, in fact no, we won't leave them blank, we'll set defaults for these. And again, these should replace with localization text. So this can be a multi-language application, so we really need to start adding, you know, localization soon. But for now, we'll just type in English and type it direct. So we'll have current password hint text is current password, new and confirm. And then the design models will pick up on those defaults anyway, so we shouldn't have to do anything with the design models. Then we combine the current password to move that all up so it aligns correctly. This we will then bind the tag we use in the style to the current password hint text, I believe it is. And let's just check that one works. Wrong box, but yeah, that works. In fact, no, it's not the wrong box. We've simply got these in the wrong order somehow, because that's also the one that focuses when we double click. current row. Oh, I've done the rows wrong. So simply move that row down to there and that row down to there. There we go. And we now know that works. So bind the tag to the other two. Change this to new password. This to confirm. And now I'll have the 3 password boxes we need, all data bound in terms of the hint texts and the display. So you've got password, double click. Now it asks you for your current password, new and confirm. So then you type blah, 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 whatever, and then you press enter. And we've actually just checked the logic there. So wrong password, the current password is invalid. That's fine. So we know that should be testing with a capital T. Did I type that right? Oh, I know that pop-up needs to have an enter button. Okay, so that's something's not working with our logic there. Let's quickly check that out. Password, where is it? It's the view model, isn't it? Password entry view model. So our logic that does this check is not working. So we probably can't see it very well here, but oh, I know why. We haven't bound the passwords. That was the last step. So I got ahead of myself by pressing enter, but obviously we haven't bound anything to these passwords, so they're nothing right now. Also, we want to just quickly add an enter to that pop-up dialog. If that is a quick thing, I'm not going to waste time if it's not. Dialogues, base dialog message box. Default true. See if that's now working when you press enter. And in fact, escape, it should also be default and cancel. Simply any button should get rid of that dialog, I think. That's it. So now enter will get rid of that dialog. Let's also make escape get rid of that dialog, because it's simply a you know, a pop-up message. So really, an OK and cancel, you know, both should really close that. So now if I press escape, that's it. So now we have a nice way to, you know, test things. So I think the last thing there, I'm quite happy with that animation. So I was going to do like instead of just fading them in and it jumping and fading them out, I was going to, you know, size the overall height. But to be honest, I think that's just over animation. I think that's nice. That doesn't hurt the eyes really. I've noticed this is jumping though. Let's just align the picture to the top. So this is in a grid, vertical alignment top. It's better. So now it doesn't jump. See, I think the last thing for this dialog box is binding these 3 controls to the actual secure text. Or we can simply, because we don't do anything with it until we actually, you know, press the check, if you will. It's at that point we could, well, actually no, it isn't, because we enter. We could basically presume that until they run a check, until they call the save or edit, then we pull the data. Or we could do it based on actual editing, you know, editing the text itself. So let's just have a quick look and think about it. So it's going to be self-contained in this control. Yeah, so actually we're always in control of this, but I think for everything we need here, I don't think there's a reason why not to bind it to the commands. So what we're going to do is we can't bind it to the command. Well, we could, but no, we're gonna update it as it changes, because this doesn't want to start interfering with the view model itself. We simply want to provide the view model with the information as often as possible. So in each text box, let's do password changed, and that's current password changed. So in there, update the view model value with the new password. So we'll have if data context is password, I thought it was password view model. Password entry view model. So this is checking that it is, that we actually have a data context in case we don't. So if we have a data context, then the view model dot original, which is really starting to annoy me. Let's rename these to match. So this is current password. Got label, current, new, confirm, edited password, change to new. So current password, new password, confirm password. Current, new, confirm, new, confirm. That's all good, right then. So the view model's current password equals the current password, which should be on this XAML that's not showing up in. So the name is current passwords, that should be showing up. That's it. Just, I think they're looking at this, the XAMLs, we just need to clear the project to fix that. So this should exist, it's just we've got broken IntelliSense at the minute. So that should be, I think, just password, and I think that's secure. Let's try and compile that. Build. Okay, so it's just this password because we don't have IntelliSense. Password box. Secure password is the one we want. And it could also be because we don't have X in front of the name, so it's got some namespace conflicts. No, so that's fine. So update view model. We'll do that for the other two. So on the password changed of these two, we'll have new password changed and confirm password changed. In the backend code, we'll copy all of this. And again, remember, we're doing this because you can't data bind to a secure string. That's the whole point. It's unsafe because view models are stored in variables, so they're accessible via simple reflection and simply pulling out. So an application could just read that value very easily. So whenever you're dealing with passwords, you keep them in the RAM, and when you unsecure them, you always do them in like inline statements. You never store them as a standard string anywhere, unless you absolutely have no choice, and then you keep it in memory for the shortest amount of time. So that's why we're doing this work in terms of every time the password changes, updating the secure password to match, which this might be a pointer, so this might be okay to actually do once on creation, which we can, we'll have a look at after, but this is how we're doing it and why we're doing it. So this will be the new password equals new password equals new password. Confirm password. Confirm password. Confirm password. So now that should all update. And as we type, we should get them. And then when we get to the view model, which is here, this should now work. We should be able to unsecure and check the real value. And if not, then we'll also, let's see what we got. And then we'll delete this line, because this is something, again, you should never do. Actual new password equals password.unsecure. So again, this is exactly what I'm talking about, what to never do. Never unsecure and store in a value like this. I'm just going to do this to check that we actually do have the values we think we have, that we've done all the, the code right. So new, current, and confirm. Then a breakpoint there. So let's run this, and we should get, first hint that it works is that if we type testing, it should pass that validation. So we type test in without the G. It should moan, which it does. We put G and then put A, B, C, D, E, F and enter. It shouldn't say it's not testing. It should say that these others don't match, which it now does. The new one confirmed don't match. So A, B, C, A, B, C. We get through. So now the current password should be testing, which is not. Oh, because we've updated it here to match. So we knew it was because this check worked. Then we've gone ahead and updated the current password here. And that's just, again, for this demo. That would be done on the... You'd first ask the server to update the password. If it confirmed it did, then, you know, you'd set this. But really, this is something that probably won't even stay in the view model when we have the server doing the work, because the current password will never be stored anywhere. You'd simply keep passing it back to the server. So current password, ABC, they all match now because those two matched, and then we set the current to match that. So that's all working. So let's just delete that, because that's what you never do. And let's just run once more, see what's left. But I think that's pretty much the password box done, I think. So we have your normal boxes to edit names and things. You've got your password box now that highlights and says current password, that checks if it's the right one, and that isn't. And then test. So it's current password's invalid. That's good. Testing. And a capital T. And then that works and closes. And this still stays the same. And then also one should obviously ask the server to change the password. That would probably pop up with a message saying successfully changed, or we might have some kind of little hover over here, like a green box that says successfully changed and fades out after a second, just so it's a nice subtle hint that it actually worked. But again, we need the back-end code to do that. So that's the password box, which is, I can't think of anything else we need there. We could obviously do a check that we actually have a password, because you could leave it blank. So that we would do, and again, you only want to do very basic checks in the view model, because the server will handle the real logic of what's allowed as a password. But we know for a fact you shouldn't be able to have a blank password, I'm sure. Some applications, well, I can't see any application expecting or allowing a blank password. So we simply check. If we check the length of one, we know they match. So it doesn't matter about them matching or not. We just simply now have to check one. So if the length equals 0, check we actually have a password. Password too short, in some ironic vein message. You must enter a password. So now if we enter the word testing, but then leave the other two blank, we should get that warning that, you know, you've got to at least enter a password, which you do. So I think that is the password field all done. So now let's do the logout button. I think I don't know where to put the logout button visually. I guess below for now is okay. Let's just add it to the grid like everything else. And then we could fix this. I think this just the whole project needs cleaning and building, and I don't think just the standard clean will do. I think we need to delete the VS folders and everything for this to update to, you know, hide the other boxes that aren't hiding correctly. But I'll clean that afterwards. I'm sure that's just a, you know, restarting Visual Studio and cleaning off to get this to show the correct height. So ignore that for the moment, why it's the wrong height. We've got the stack panel with those in. So now let's try and just chuck a button in with content and just type it in manually for the moment. Just get a feel for this happening. Big logout button, that's a bit big. Font size, small, a bit too small. Regular seems okay with me. Then we probably want to move it to, oh, there is no grid, this is just a Oh yeah, these are all set by the thing that also isn't working. That's why I can tell we just need to clean the cache, because this is all out of line in design time when it wasn't before. So in fact, let me just completely clean and reopen everything. Okay, I've just completely deleted all the VS folders, the bin, the object, clean the project, rebuilt the project. So let's see if that's fixed the visual, which I'm hoping it has. There we go. So if you get that issue, all you do is open the project folder, open folder, and then you delete the bin, the object folder, you go up one, you delete the hidden VS folder, then you restart, clean solution, build solution, and because sometimes WPF gets out of sync, so now we've got the correct looking UI and it's correctly aligned at design time. That logout button, I think, to be honest, looks okay there for now. You know, I don't think I'm going to do anything else with that. So we have the login button. We need to bind this. So right now we have settings view model. So we want a public string logout button text for the logout button, and again this will come from localization, but for now we'll simply set it directly. So that equals logout, and then we'll need a command to actually log out. So we've got open and close, and the logout command really wants to just make use of a shared logout, which we don't have right now, but we'll leave it in the settings, but that'll probably end up moving to, actually, to be honest, it's fine in the settings view model, but if we have another view model that also wants to log out from somewhere else, that view model should simply get access to this and then fire the logout command. We don't want to write the same logic twice, but this is the first time we've done a logout, so it's okay going here. So logout command, open, close, logs the user out. And then for that, we simply have to go to page log in this case, which we'd want to go to you would clear, well, first you would confirm the user wants to log out, which right now we don't have a confirm box. We only made the OK box. We've got to do the, you know, the yes, no type dialog box. So for quickness, we'll just simply ignore that for now, but put a to do in that you would confirm first that the user wants to do this. Then when we've got the backend storage and we actually have some information about the user, you know, we've actually stored information. I want to clear any user data and cache. And then finally, you want to clean all application level view models that contain any information about the current user. So for that, we'd take a look at, I think when we're binding. So if we look at where in the application we bind static things, so we've got the UI manager, which doesn't have anything. We've got the application and the settings view model right now. So let's take a quick look at application. We have, oh, that's not the application one. Let's go to application view model. Got the current page, that's nothing to do with the user. Settings visible, that's nothing to do. So the application view model doesn't contain anything about the user. settings view model contains name, username, password, and email. So they are all definitely a user-specific piece of information. Now again, right now, we just set them here in the constructor. So the very first time the application runs, that's not really the correct place to set them. So you would set these when you log in. So let's move that and kind of set them at the point where we click login. So let's actually do something now when we log in. And this will all obviously come together to real code as we do everything else. But now here, you'd say, this is pretending to log in. So you'd log in. Okay, successfully logged in. Now get users data. So to do, ask server for users info. And then right now, we populate the ioc.settings.name with this. So now at this point, you've logged in. We've set the user's information to this. And let's set the, let's set the name to that. Let's set the name, but postfix it with date time dot, well, let's do local time. We'll do to just literally the time is enough, that's fine. So that we have some idea of when this was set. So that's going to set it when you log in, and then it's going to go to the chat page. So in here, when we log out, we're not going to clear it right now. So when we first log in, you'll see that we get the time of what it is right now. And then when we log out and log back in, when we log in, it's going to replace it anyway. But when we log out, we want to clear that information, because if you stay logged out and you potentially got that, data in memory still, you're storing the user's data that should have been cleared. So let's just actually clear it here. And instead of doing this, name equals, empty, this equals empty, this equals empty, we're going to add one that's called clear user data. And we'll add a function to the settings view model to do that. We're in the settings view model. Don't need to call ioc.settings inside ourselves. So we'll have a new function, public void, clear user data, clears any data specific to the current user. And then, as always, whenever you're adding a function in a view model, you should always have a command for that, so that things could data bind to that function if they needed. So the command to clear the user's data from the view model. And that'll be clear user data command. And we'll create it there. Clear user data command equals clear user data. All done, and then here we want the name to equal string.empty. It's a text entry. So we want the name to equal new, and we'll simply wipe them out for now. Or we could even set them to null. Just completely wipe them out and let them be recreated by when we log in. So I think there's no harm in doing that. Password and email. So that's cleared all the info. Clear all view models containing info. So let's just run through this before we actually run the code. So we've got the logout button. We want to bind that now to, what did we call it? Logout button text. So that should then update when we build. There we go. So we got logout text. The command when we click the button now wants to be logout command. So then we click the button, we get the logout command. The logout command will get here. It should ask the user to confirm this is something we need to do. It should then clear any user data cache, as in something that's physically stored on this machine. Because you will start writing, data to the machine, especially the user's credentials when they've logged in. You'll have like a You won't have the password, but you'll have an access key that allows the application to authorize the user. So you need to clear all that information when we add that. And again, that's not in right now, so we simply don't add it. And then we can clear in-memory data, which is this clear user data. This is what's in the view model, the live view model in memory. So we clear that off, and then we just go to the login page. And on the login page now, or on the login view model rather, in the login, again, we successfully logged in, and then we ask we usually then query the server for the user's data, or in the reply of login, it will simply provide us with this real information anyway. But for now, I've simply dumped it in here and set the name to the time we effectively logged in, if you will, just to show it working. And then we go to the chat page. So if that's worked, we should now have a basically working login logout system with all the data ready to be plugged into the real server. So we go to here, and now you'll see the other issue. We've started the application without logging in, so there's no info. So we'll fix that, but that's a good start that shows us that we've got no info because we aren't logged in. We forced the application to start at the chat page, and then we're not logged in. So let's check the logout works. That's a no. So let's just check. Where are we? Settings, view model, logout. Let's check we're even hitting this command. So we're hitting this command, clearing the user's data. I want to go to the login page. Current page is login. Side menu visible as that. So that should be going to the login page. Oh, it does, but we don't hide the settings page, which is something we need to do. So where do we have? Oh yeah, settings menu visible. So also on go to page, side menu visible or not should only be visible. In fact, we should always hide the settings page if we're changing pages, I think. So always hide settings page if we are changing pages. So settings menu visible equals false. And then what you'll get is that'll be fading out as the login's fading in as well. So we have no info, we log out. Oh, now we're not going to see the animation very well. So let's do that again. So we go here, we log out. That slides out, that slides in. Now we can sign back in. And then when we've signed in this time, we've now got all that with the date time that we logged in. And then when we log out again, that's 7:30, and also we probably want to handle what happens. I mean, you could handle this overlap, and you could potentially just have, as you hover over it, tells you what the full text is, or the user just double clicks and they can see the value. So it's up to you. We can have a tooltip over there. I think we'll do that in a minute. But you can see there, 7:34 in the morning, 21. If we log out and we log back in, it's now 7:34:58. And we log out again, we should get to 7:35. And there you go. So we've basically got the logout working, and we've got the password box all done. So I think that's really it. I know one thing people are dying for me to do is this side menu. So I'll probably do that in the next video, where, as in, you click this and something happens here, loading pages based on content. So the answer's in the comments where people have asked, but obviously there's a lot of people that now want to take this and go, right, I click that, now I want to do something here, how do I do that? So I'll probably do this in the next video, but at least now we've got a way to log in and out of the application. And typically you should start at the login. So if we start here where we just force it to go to the, the initial page and there's no info because we haven't logged in, that's kind of to be expected. So the way I'd fix that is, because usually you'd open the application, you'd load the user's data from a back-end storage. I'm just gonna, for this, basically change the application view model to simply start back at the login page, because we're going to add the actual real login stuff not far from now. So But you know why you're not getting the information, because we simply don't set the information until we log in. So if it annoys you when you want to just see the information, simply paste this into, I don't know, the back where we were there. Application view. I can't remember where we put it, but we could just dump it in. Where's a good place? Dump it in the constructor of the settings view model if you want. In like here. So if you want it to always appear by default, then you could just slap it there. And that could be your, your place that you put it. But I'm just going to stay. So the page now opens as the login page by default. So when the application opens, we get that, we log in. In fact, because we're working on this page, that is actually going to annoy me. So no, let's dump this in here for now, as we mentioned. So we've got it in both places, and with a note to remove this. And then this will mean now when you're not logged in, you just won't have a time on the name. So that's a way for you to visualize, whether you've logged in. And then we'll swap the application view model back again to the chat and the true. And there we go. So we've got the info back, but when you log out and log in, you'll actually get the time in your name. So that's all good. Let's maybe just quickly do this tooltip. Let's get that out of the way. I'm hoping that's a simple thing, and I'm hoping I can remember how you even do it. So we'll want to be in TextEntryControl XAML. I wish WPF would remember the layout position. It always forgets it. Right, so it's on this text, and have we got a tooltip? Yep. Do we have content? Yeah. Testing. I really can't remember what you do with the tooltip. Doesn't like that. What's it complaining at now? Maybe this has a tooltip. Oh, maybe it's as simple as that. And then we probably want to style the tooltip, but for now, oh, that was easy. So all we want to do is bind the tooltip to the value. So let's just do that. Tooltip is binding to original text. And then we also want to go to the password entry view model, entry control rather. And then in this one, oh no, password, you don't want tooltip. You don't want to see the password. So that was nice and quick. We have a tooltip, and then we could override the tooltip style to look nicer. So hover over there. But again, for now, I think that's fine. So if we logged out, logged in, and now the text is too large, you hover and you see the whole text. So that's I like that, and that was easy. Again, we'll style that tooltip in another video. It's super easy. Just make a new style, override the tooltip, and we'll probably change the background color to a faded yellow, or maybe even use this orange if it's not too bold, or make it look similar to you don't want it to look the same as a button though. But we'll come up with that style. That's nothing complicated. So there we have it. We've got the password entry dialog all done. We've got some logic in that tests things. We added the enter and escape on this dialog, and then we've done the log out and log in logic. So hopefully that was useful. Next video we'll probably focus on this sidebar that everybody's wanting to load content into here. As usual, any questions, comments, just let me know in the video, and I'll get back to you.